This is a good movie podcast with Katie and Joe.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the latest episode of This is a Good Movie podcast with your host, Joe Bates, and your other host,
Katie Hetledge.
Oh my gosh. We're, for those who have never listened to the show before, you picked the right movie to start with.
Nope.
We're a married couple. We make each other watch a movie the other one's never seen that one has.
Mm-hmm. And they're supposed to be
This is a good movie.
They're supposed to be good movies.
This is a good movie podcast. So we're gonna get into talking about the movie I suggested. Before that, Katie and I have we released the Oscar episode a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
Then we saw the Oscars and sent a little reaction video, mini episode out there. And I kind of like this period of time right now because I can now watch all the slop movies that I knew wasn't going to get nominated. I can check out my Aquaman 2 and hate it.
Yeah, it's basically like summer vacation for movie watchers right now.
Yeah,
Every time that we've like had time to watch a movie, we either are watching a movie for this podcast or we're like, okay, cue up Rustin. And we have not been watching the movies that I would like for us to watch, like the Jake Johnson one.
Yeah, we need to watch that. The Ricky
Stanicki. I'm very excited for that.
I am more excited about Ricky Stanicki now that I've seen John Cena just go all out at the Oscars.
Yeah, and you're probably also excited about it because now you know what great comedy chops Zac Efron has.
Yeah. Anyways, well, that was our last week's movie with Zac Efron's
I know exactly
comedy chops. So we'll get into this week's movie, which is the first R-rated comic book movie ever made. The Crow.
That's interesting. I always thought it was Deadpool.
What? This is much before Deadpool.
No, but I remembered like when Deadpool was coming out, I thought everyone was saying, "Oh, this is a big deal because it's a comic book movie, but it's rated R."
I think it was because during that time, no comic book movies were doing that.
Okay, so it was just like unusual. It wasn't the first one.
And it made a ton of money as an R-rated movie, which is rare.
Did this one not make a ton of money?
This one actually did make a ton of money.
It did?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
This movie is like highly reviewed. Like Roger Ebert liked this
What
movie.
was the budget in the box office?
The budget. So this movie came out May 13th, 1994.
Okay.
I was 8 years old.
I was 1.
The budget was $23 million.
Got it.
Box office $94 million.
Okay, yeah.
They made 3 more of these.
That's a commercial success.
And they're rebooting it recently, which is why we're talking about it now.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you like when you went into The Crow not knowing anything?
Mm-hmm.
What was your guess at what was going to happen?
Well, I knew 2 things about this movie. No, I knew 3 things about this movie because I had seen the announcement of the new one.
Yes.
With Bill Skarsgård is going to play.
Mm-hmm. Just Skarsgård is all I know.
Yeah. And it mentioned something about like the makeup. So I knew there was like some kind of weird dark makeup look.
Goth baby.
You kept referring to this movie as a superhero movie. And then I also knew that Brandon Lee was the star and that he is Bruce Lee's son. So now I'm thinking punk rock martial arts superhero.
Oh.
And at that point, my brain can't actually come up with anything for what that would look like. So that's as far as I get.
Yeah.
Just a lot of brooding.
Yeah, I mean,
it was my guess.
There was a good amount of brooding in this movie. In this
who
movie,
knows?
his power might have been just brooding. It might have been everybody's power. Is brooding.
No, he had legitimate powers. Now,
yeah.
Where did they come from? How are they related to a crow? And does he just keep discovering new powers kind of throughout? Because it seemed like suddenly, oh yeah, he can heal himself. Oh yeah, he has like super straight, like he just kept discovering new powers.
So for those who haven't seen The Crow and are listening to this, the movie is about a musician who is resurrected from the dead to seek vengeance against the gang who murdered him and his fiancée, all while being pursued by a sympathetic police officer.
Yeah, and there's like a girl,
There's a girl they took care of.
like a neighborhood kid.
That is like, who at first I thought was pretty good in the movie, but then I just got more and more sick of the kid as it went on.
I didn't
like
really...
an adopted kid of this couple.
Well, her actual mom is in the...
Yeah,
not
mom,
her actual
mom is terrible.
Yeah, she's like on drugs and stuff. So she's not taking care of her. So then, what are their names? Eric
Draven
and
Shelley.
Shelley. So Eric and Shelley were like taking care of her, hanging out with her, trying to keep her off these dangerous streets in whatever city this is. Also,
So the city is Detroit.
oh, okay.
So it's Detroit City. This takes place on Devil's Night, which I know you had a lot of questions about.
Well, it just says October 30th, Devil's Night.
But
And
that
I was
is
like, what?
That's a real thing in Detroit.
Oh,
Like they
okay.
had terrible arsons in the 90s, like right
Oh,
when this
wow.
movie came out. So like they are like talking about something. This started in like the 30s and 40s in Detroit, where it's like kind of kids doing pranks, and then in like the 70s it turned violent.
Yeah, it's just murder and arson in
Yeah.
in this, but also somehow there's a Devil's Night committee that meets towards the end of the movie.
Yeah, they're kind of just a crime syndicate, which is like a thing that
But like
doesn't
they
make any
get
sense.
What's funny to me is that this crime syndicate, I guess,
Led by Top Dollar, who they never say his
Led-
name, but that's just a comic book character.
led by
name.
Top Dollar, who we do not know the villain origin story, which
No, he's just he's just a criminal.
a criminal.
He does. I mean, he is the reason they died. It's not very much explained in the movie exactly why, but he's trying to get all the people in this apartment evicted so he can seize the building for cheap.
Yeah, he's a landlord, and that's really at the heart of the film. The message is landlords are bad.
Yeah, but that's the key reason why in the beginning all of that happens is because he's trying to seize the building and he's using his crime syndicate to cause chaos to make buildings cheaper.
Yeah, I understand that. I just think that then it's interesting that they're like, okay, all the crime leaders get together on Devil's Night because we need to have our annual Devil's Night discussion where we talk about what we're all going to do for Devil's Night. Who's doing arson this year? Who's in charge of what? Who's bringing the cupcakes? Like, it's the weirdest. They don't explain it at all what this whole thing about Devil's Night. Why?
Because what their plan is at all.
When I see these groups and we see them, they're playing with knives, they're burning themselves with cigarettes, they're like doing all these crazy things, and I'm like, okay, you're telling me that these people just do this on Devil's Night? You're telling me these people wait all year and then are like, tonight's the night, time to get out the knives? No, they're doing this year round.
Yeah, no, I think Devil's Night is just like on steroids.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's not like a purge.
Right. Okay.
That gang, though, the gang that that kills them, it really honestly feels to me like either the degradation or the evolution of that RoboCop gang that kills RoboCop.
Yeah, to me, they're one and the same. And they both have silly names.
Yeah.
There's Tintin, Fun Boy. Like, no.
No. Run by Top Dollar. But those are the names from the comic book.
That makes sense. That is very, like, comic book name.
And so just so you know why they made this movie out of this comic book.
Why did they make this movie?
This was a highly revered comic book at the time. I think before Walking Dead, it was the top selling black and white comic of all time. So IGN, which is like a nerd culture thing, Crow was 37th in top 100 comic book heroes.
Wow.
In 2005. This is like right after they made the fourth Crow movie. And it was he was the second American comic book to get the Storyteller Award at this famous comics festival in France. So like it had like, this is the cool comic. and they wanted to make the
Interesting.
cool movie, which
Did they?
84% are on Tomatoes.
What?
Yeah, 84% are on
gosh.
Tomatoes. Robert Ebert liked this movie.
Wow.
The other 3 movies they made, 14% or lower.
Is this movie, I don't think you've read the comic, but is this movie like true to the comic story?
No, the comic is a little different. Top Dollar isn't like a crime syndicate boss. It's just like a gang of people that beat them up in a car accident. Like they got in a fight after a car accident, and he comes back.
Yeah, which again, they don't explain at all. The most that I can gather is it's Devil's Night. That has to, again, so we're 1 year later.
Yeah.
That has to have some kind of meaning. And then there's a special crow.
There's a special crow.
And the special crow lands on Eric's grave, and suddenly he comes back to life. He crawls out of his own grave. He's been in there for a full year, so
Yeah.
at the very least, I'm guessing, he'll have some dirt on him. No. He comes out like freshly showered.
Yeah, well, that's Brandon Lee for you.
And then immediately is just like, there's no talking. There's no dialogue. We don't know anything that he's thinking. He just is wandering around going, like can't figure out where he's going, what he's doing, why he's there. And then he just takes off his shirt because he's like, it looks like he feels trapped by his shirt. So he takes it off.
I feel so. A small note, and he gets out of the grave. The back of his shirt is like cut because that's what they do when they bury you. They cut the back of your shirt for some reason.
What?
I don't know. When people bury you, they like cut the back of your shirt.
Is that real?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
You read that.
It's like as a little trivia thing where I was like not gonna.
And then the next question is clearly why. And you didn't go to find that out?
So this is the difference between me and you, and this is probably why you're
You just
more
go,
successful.
that's weird. I wonder why that is. Guess I'll never know.
I don't want. So it's not to me. There's no wonderment. It just is. Well, that's the way it is, I guess. And then move on.
This is why you like math and I don't, is because so much of math, at least how it was taught to me, is like, here, when it's this, you do this. And then I was like, okay, but why do you do that? And they would always, my teachers would be like, it's just what you do.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? No.
It's trust.
Whereas in my wonderful like English and history classes, they're like, and then this person does this. And you're like, why did they do that? And they're like, that's the whole point of this class. Let's find out.
Yeah, my problem with English and when people analyze literature and everything, I think about when somebody went to Andrew Lloyd Webber and was talking about the play Cats as an allegory for some Scottish Civil War, and he goes, "It's just a play about cats." But I think both of your issues with this movie.
Both, as in I just have two.
I think you have two main issues with this movie.
Okay.
One, you don't really understand what his powers are. That's not explained.
Well, a lot of things aren't explained. The whole movie is very vague.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, okay.
And two, the intro scene is like crazy. Like it's just like really fast. They don't have enough information.
The entire film is shot very crazily.
Yeah,
and confusingly. It's the whole thing is like flashbacks to a place that's just red.
This is a fun little note about this movie is that according to Empire magazine, which also listed this in the 500 greatest movies of all time.
Nope.
Number 468.
500 is a lot.
500 is a lot. According to Empire magazine, cocaine abuse was rampant on set.
Wow.
With cameramen shooting whilst high, crew going in the toilets to snort between shots, and people cutting around. One crew member recalls hearing the sound of a sneeze on the set one day and an annoyed Brandon Lee quipping, "Someone just lost $50."
That's pretty funny. That's okay. Well,
it does have a feeling like everyone is on cocaine.
That would explain the general look of the film. When the crow is flying through the Detroit skyline, it looks so...
The crow itself, not the crow, the guy.
When either of them, when the camera's going through the tops of buildings, over buildings, over the roofs. It looks so bad. It looks like it's just completely in a studio, like made of paper mache.
I feel like it's very of the time, which is tough.
I get that. It is very 90s, but like it just looks so high school theater production. And it feels a little high school theater production because
The makeup?
of the makeup. Yeah, so he gets back to his apartment where he and his fiance were killed. Shelley in the movie.
Best name for a woman
And
in the world. Shelley.
his first move is to punch the mirror
Yeah, that's a classic.
and then put on stage makeup that he just already had and is a year old in an abandoned apartment.
It is not crazy.
And then
for
he's
him.
always like reciting Shakespeare and stuff.
It's
like,
not. Yeah, I will
who
say.
is this person? We don't know because we met them after they were already dead and going crazy.
Did you grow up? So this is a 7. So this might be a 7-year difference. When you grew up in like school, like elementary school, not middle school, high school, did you have goths in your life? Were there goth cliques?
Yes, we had that.
So I feel like if you know he's a goth musician, him having face makeup isn't crazy.
Okay, but counterpoint, when this starts, we don't know that. The most that we get is that there's a photo of his band at like this venue and maybe he's playing guitar like in a flashback. But he as a character, like Eric Draven as a character, Shelley What's-Her-Face as a character, we don't know them. We don't have any idea who they are, why we should care about them. We only learn about them through these very weird music video style flashbacks that, if anything, still don't tell me anything about them other than the fact that 1, they were dating, 2, they love candles and throw them around haphazardly, and 3, they like to put on masks and make out with each other.
Yeah, to be fair, I think that's one of the issues is that the beginning of the movie was shot last.
Right.
And that's when he got Brandon Lee. Everyone died in the making of this film because someone shot a prop gun that had a bullet casing. It split into pieces, and a piece hit him and fatally killed him.
Yeah, awful.
Fatally killed him. That's not the best way to say it.
Well, that is what happened.
Yeah.
But even with that, I still don't think that what I'm asking for was in the movie.
No,
I don't think
I
what I was asking for was ever planned to be in the movie.
Oh, I don't know, because I think there was more in the stuff they had to cut out because of that death. So I think there would have been more of a relationship in that scene. That I couldn't find exactly.
I disagree.
Okay. Now the other part where his powers aren't explained. There was a full character cut out of this movie called the Skull Cowboy.
Okay.
He was like doing his own crow.
Why?
And he was there. He's like, I'm stuck here. Here's what's going on. You need to get revenge.
Okay.
Yeah. He's like, here are your powers. This is what you got to do.
You have to kill everyone who killed you, and then you'll be able to go back to your grave.
Yeah. In various deleted scenes, the cowboy would repeatedly explain the basic rule that if Eric did anything not related to seeking revenge, he would lose his powers and risk being stuck in the land of the living.
Oh, see,
Which is what that guy was going through.
why would they cut that out?
Yeah. The first edited cutscene revealed his outline was during the moment when Eric used his special abilities to remove morphine from a woman's vein.
Yeah, that's a crazy.
That is an insane scene.
And I also didn't understand. Like, I did not understand what happened. You had to be like, do you know what he just did? Because I was like, no, I don't know. I was like, I don't know. I don't know how drugs go in, and I don't know how they come out.
So yeah, that's like, it creates a different narrative. So like near the end of the movie when they're killing the like crow, it's more like, oh, this is what's going on. I understand like the crow is the weakness.
Yeah, I didn't love that we had to put so much of that together ourselves.
I kind of had to tell you what
just
was
had
going
to
on.
like assume things because you really have no way of knowing if you're correct or not in your assumptions. Yeah, I really wish that they would have kept, can't believe I'm saying this, I wish they would have kept the Skull Cowboy in the movie.
Yeah, so it was a big part where when they were trying to lure Eric into the trap, the Skull Cowboy comes back and goes, if you do this, you're trapped. and that's what like makes he's like sacrificing that for the girl.
That would have been a lot more powerful.
Yeah.
Wow, this could have been good.
And then it reveals that Top Dollar was part of why Shelley got killed. So when he kills him, then he can go back to the grave.
Fine. Yeah.
It's a loophole.
That makes sense.
Classic pirates loophole.
Yeah, but it's a loophole that we don't know we don't know there needs to be a loophole because they're not explaining the rules.
So if the Skull Cowboy's in this movie, you're going and you're like, okay, well, at least I'm getting. Yeah, I think so. I think that's what I'm saying. The two things, one is loosey goosey, but the other one, I do feel like you wanted that scene.
Yeah, because see, I don't like this movie. If you can't tell, I'm not a fan of this movie. And as we were watching, I was very stressed out, very anxious, and I realized that I don't like this movie for the same reason that I don't like video games. It's because I don't understand why I/my character am in this position, but I am scared and there's a lot of guns being shot at me. And like that is a situation I don't want to be in. I don't enjoy watching that.
You like action movies, but as long as you understand why.
I like action movies when it's explained to me what's going on and also I know the characters.
That's so funny.
But this was like, there was nothing for me to grasp onto.
Yeah, I mean, when we were watching it, I really was like,
regretting your choice?
Well, no, I wasn't regretting the choice. I'm glad we watched it because I am glad to see you. There is something about like, I know this movie isn't for Katie, but
It's
maybe.
not. It's not
But
at all.
maybe it is. Mm-hmm. My first note was this is very 90s and Katie will not like it.
Yep. Yeah.
One thing you did like, you loved Ernie Hudson.
I love him so much. He's so great. I love him in Ghostbusters. I love him in Grace and Frankie. More Ernie Hudson in movies.
He is enjoyable in this and he's got charisma.
He's got charisma out the wazoo. Now,
he makes some interesting choices in the movie.
Also confused generally about his character. So he plays the police officer who was like on the scene.
Yeah, in like
night of the deaths, and then was like demoted.
But like it really felt like the police chief was going to be involved with Top Dollar.
Oh yeah, I thought that too. But then he wasn't.
And then like he got demoted because he was too close on the case, but it seems like he just was kind of bad at his job.
But then he sort of like teams up with Eric to bring down the people. And also he's friends with the skater girl.
He's friends with the skater. They eat a hot dog together.
Yeah. At one point, we do go into Ernie's apartment.
Oh, yes.
Because the crow shows up to have a little conversation with him about...
They were all pictures of... I took pictures of it so you could put on our Instagram.
Okay, good. We'll put this on the Instagram. In the background, the camera pans...
Just a normal apartment.
Through the apartment, and you just see a trombone and a basketball on his couch.
Yeah.
And then it continues, and we see, what was it, a baseball and a football on his armchair?
Yeah.
Why? Why do we just have musical instruments and sports equipment sitting on a couch?
Let me ask you something.
And so much variety. You're not using those things at the same time. Those sports have totally different seasons.
What if you're going back to a guy's place? What's weirder? Ernie Hudson's apartment or a guy who has multiple swords on the wall?
I know that you want to buy swords.
I want,
and it's never going to happen.
I just want to get
We're
a few
not doing
swords.
Swords.
I just want to hang some swords over our bed.
Okay, well, you know who has a wall of swords? Top Dollar. Because he opens it up and gets out the swords and then stabs people with the swords.
So I want a wall of swords. I don't want a cabinet of swords.
Oh my gosh.
I don't want a walk-in closet of swords. I need a whole room.
Okay, the swords are a bigger red flag to me than, it's weird to have all of your hobbies sitting on your couch, but that's at least the hobbies themselves are fairly normal and not swords and not weapons to kill me.
You go back to Ernie Hudson's place and you go, so you play trombone? He goes, yes, I do. And then he just plays a trombone.
Yeah, well, now I guess I'm marrying Ernie Hudson. I don't know. So that's quite a turnaround.
I just don't know if the trombone is the...
Whereas if I go back to, let's say, your place and you have a wall of swords and I say, oh, do you use swords? And you go, yeah, I do. And then you take one off the wall and then you start doing like sword work around the apartment. I'm leaving.
I don't want to be good with swords. I just want to see
I'm just
some
saying, when
swords.
we're comparing these two, every time swords loses.
Oh, this is... I don't want to make it a tangent off of this great concept that swords are great and you're wrong about your view on swords.
No.
At one point in this movie, Katie goes, "Is that the crow?" "No, it's a child." Just confused about what's going on in the movie.
Okay.
And I thought that's the worst Superman version ever. It's a bird, it's a plane, it's Superman.
Is that the crow?
Is that the crow? No, it's a child.
Okay. You act like I said that like halfway through after I already knew who the crow was.
Is that the crow? No.
Here's what happened.
It's a crow. It's a child. What are we doing?
It's the opening scene, and I didn't know it was a child because they just show her foot stepping into a puddle, and she's just wearing a sneaker.
Yeah.
So, and this was the first time we're seeing like a person in the movie. So yeah, I go, oh, is this the crow? And then when they pan up and show that no, it's a 12-year-old girl, I figured out that's not the crow.
Is this the crow? No, it's a child.
Sorry for narrating my
It's
inner thoughts.
Very funny. Oh, side note, the bird, the crow, the you see all the time,
Is it a puppet?
it's not an actual crow.
What is it?
It's a raven.
You know, I was wondering that.
Because you can train ravens, you can't really train crows.
Which one uses tools?
The raven. The raven is the one they have around like Tower of London that are like just kind of doing their own thing.
Are you sure? You're sure it's not crows?
I am pretty sure.
Ravens use tools and crows like things that are shiny.
Okay, I didn't know that was your question. The Tower of London is surrounded by ravens. I didn't know you were wondering between ravens and crows what they do.
One of them uses tools.
Do ravens use tools? Yes, ravens are known to use tools.
How fun. Do crows?
That's my next Google.
Okay.
Do crows.
We're looking this up live, everyone. Stay tuned.
The crows are well known for the scientists for their ability to build and use tools.
They both use tools.
Yeah.
Then I don't know what the difference is between the two of them.
I think the ravens follow directions and the crows are just making tools of destruction and danger.
All right. That's, if you're going to call a movie The Crow and have a main character be a crow, you would think you would use a crow. But if you can't, then I guess you use a raven.
The crow goes into a killing spree.
Yes.
And he's killing these murderers.
And we mean Eric Draven, the crow.
Eric Draven,
Not
the crow.
the bird.
The bird has not built tools to exact the vengeance for Eric Draven.
The bird is not going on a killing spree. Eric Draven is going on a revenge killing spree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he is killing these people with whatever their accessory is.
Yeah, so he kills Tintin with a bunch of knives.
Because he has a bunch of knives.
He kills...
Tintin actually, I thought as an actor, was selling this Tintin guy pretty well. Mm-hmm. Whereas Fun Boy,
What does he kill Fun Boy with? Drugs?
Yeah, he kills him with drugs. And then he pulls the drugs out of the lady's arm.
Yeah, there were a couple moments I actually couldn't watch.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because I thought they were gross and scary, so I had to avert my eyes.
But the thing is, you liked it because it was basically Good Guy Joker.
No.
You love Good Guy Joker.
I don't like the Joker. I don't like really anything about the Joker.
It is crazy to watch this movie though, and then think of Heath Ledger's Dark Knight performance and see how much similar these two are.
It is very similar.
I couldn't find anything where Heath Ledger references the crow.
Okay.
Those two are very similar in the way they
have
act.
The same hair.
Yeah. Even the way when Brendan Lee's talking to the cops and smiling and it's just very eerie.
Brandon Lee was really honestly pretty good in this. There were some moments that felt off to me, aside from the writing and the performance.
Everything he did with
off.
Shelley.
Yeah, but I could see glimpses of him being very charismatic, charming, capable. He's great at, he's doing flips around things. Like, that's pretty cool. There was a lot of good stuff that he was doing that I do think he would, like, go on to have been a bigger star if he hadn't passed away.
He has, like, a mix of Keanu and Adam Driver.
Mm-hmm. That's a good mix.
I think that's what he had.
So
he could have been, like, I think he definitely could have been Neo in The Matrix.
Yeah, I think so. That would have worked. I just, again, because we don't know his character at all before he dies, it's hard for me to tell what is Eric and what is the Crow. Because what if there are parts of his...
Eric and what is the Crow?
Well, I'm just saying...
When does the Eric stop and the Crow begin?
Yeah, because what parts of his personality are actually more imbued into him from the Crow, like his powers, and what parts are just him and his personality. And because I don't have a control, we don't have the... What am I trying to say? Baseline?
Yeah, we don't have something to judge this off of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had a lot of potential.
Yeah, and it is interesting because, again, there were not comic book movies being made at this time.
Right.
In 1998, Blade comes out.
Okay.
Before this, there were some, like, hokey, trying to retain rights movies.
Fantastic Four.
Howard the Duck was the first comic book movie ever made.
Mm-hmm.
But that's, like, not... I wouldn't. That's George Lucas being real goof.
Yeah.
Yeah. I gotta be. The beginning of this movie is off-putting, and it does set the tone. If you're not ready for what this movie is, make it hard to get back into.
Yeah.
But once he starts crowing around, I'm like, this is a good movie.
Right.
Once he starts doing some crowing stuff. He's visiting Ernie Hudson at his apartment.
The second half of the film is better than the first half.
Yeah.
I will say that.
Top Dollar is not explained well or what he is, but goddamn, he is menacing. Like, he is a scary guy, Michael Wincott.
So at this point, we know that, like, when Top Dollar is introduced, we already know that there's, like, this gang that killed Eric and Shelley on Devil's Night, and that they also have been, like, setting fires and blah, blah, blah. We don't know that they have a boss that they are reporting to. But then we meet the boss, Top Dollar, and his, like, vampire girlfriend.
Yeah, I think she's more like a witch.
Okay. They both look like vampires to me.
Yeah, no, I mean, everybody in this movie feels like they're on a vampire spectrum. Except the pawn shop owner.
It's a lot of vampire cosplay in this movie. But all of a sudden, we just meet them, and they are, like, very evil.
Very evil.
Have swords, doing a lot of cocaine, laying on tables, making out. Like, who is this? Where do they come from? How do they get to be this way? We have no idea.
I've watched all 4 Crow movies.
Brag much?
But the ending of the second Crow movie is just batshit insane, and I thought it was the first Crow ending.
Okay.
Where it's like the guy has, like, just women, like, sex slaves in, like, cages, and it's, like, crazy.
Oh, no.
And I was like, because when they show him, I was like, wait, is this I thought it was the other thing. So then I was like, uh-oh. Like, this is going to be a bad turnout for Katie in this movie. Because I was like, I remember that, and it's just, like, bonkers.
Like, she's already not on board with most of this, and she's definitely not going to be on board with sex slaves. And you would be correct.
Yeah. Another Katie quote in this movie. How does this bird fly if its vision is like that?
Because every time... Okay, so another power that Eric has is that he can see through the crow's eyes.
Yes.
So sometimes the crow will fly into a room, and then he can see what's going on in there, keeping tabs. But every time that they show us through the crow's eyes, like what the crow is seeing, the camera is, like, completely diagonal, moving back and forth. It's, like, all purple. Like, how is this crow comprehending anything and not constantly running into buildings?
Oh, these Windows. They don't like windows.
Yeah, well, now I understand. Like, It's a miracle they're not constantly killing themselves.
I I also, as watching this, I thought this was like for Gen X kids. Mm-hmm. Probably not the best role model, this movie.
No.
For what being a man is.
Yeah.
Just aggressively skinny dudes. Oh, his makeup. Mm-hmm. So he didn't like, Brandon Lee did not like the way they put the makeup on his face. Like, he thought it looked bad.
Okay.
And so he talked to the director and was like, I don't think it looks good. It seems like to put on. Uh-huh. And if it's like one night I'm like doing this, it doesn't make any sense for it to seem so put on the whole night.
Right.
So what Brandon Lee did is he put the makeup on himself the night before, slept in it, and then showed up to set with slept in makeup.
That makes sense.
And that was his choice to do that.
Very smart, very clever. Good job, Brandon.
Yeah, I thought it is a silly look, but I don't know. It halfway through the movie, I'm like, this crow's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Cool crow.
No, I disagree. I disagree.
What did you think of the kid?
Forgettable.
Yeah, you wanted the at first. I'm like, okay, cool. Kids taught a lot of the stuff the kid does, where she like narrates. Mm-hmm. That was stuff that was supposed to happen in the beginning of the movie that they redid, where she narrates a lot of stuff that's going on.
Yeah, I just don't really see a purpose for her in that. I don't think that she really like is moving the plot forward. So that's that. I mean, I guess at the end they do kidnap her, so then they can trap Eric and kill the crow, so then they can kill him. So I guess she serves that purpose, but I don't know. I feel like there would be some other way to do that.
I mean, her and her mom finally are fixed, and there will be no problems in the future when her mom gets the morphine.
What about like his band friends? What happened to them? Where are his bandmates?
Oh, he's probably one of those solo goth artists.
No, they show a photo of him
I don't
in a
know
car
where
with
they
his
are.
friend. This is what I'm saying. It's like these people didn't have lives before the movie started, and that is really taking me out of it.
There was nothing for him to really miss when he died.
Yeah.
Except this one very toxic, codependent relationship with Shelley.
Mm-hmm. Just like, where's his mom? Where's anyone's moms in this movie?
Well, Brandon Lee's mom made $3 million off this movie when she sued them for negligence, and they settled for $3 million out of court.
That seems low. She should have gotten more.
Brandon Lee's fiance told him it was okay to make the movie after he died. That's why they say thank you to her, because she gave them the go ahead that he would want you to put this movie out.
Yeah, because he is good. I get that.
Mm-hmm. At the end, so Top Dollar and his wife, who may or may not be a witch or understand the occult, she wants to get the crow this whole time.
She's always trying to catch this crow.
And
she's in a different movie, and
I love that you said that. She does seem like there is like a really silly movie where this lady is trying to catch a crow that keeps getting out of, like a Baby's Day Out.
Pretty much.
Which, oddly enough, Baby's Day Out, a lot of it was filmed in that same apartment where Eric was killed in.
Oh, wow.
Very strange. I don't know if I want my baby actor in the room where someone died.
Your baby actor.
Yeah, my baby actor.
Not just a baby.
My baby actor.
Your baby actor. Okay.
I'm a little baby actor. I'll never go on set unless I have oat milk. Because I'm a baby. I know, a baby actor.
You're being a baby.
Well, that's what I'm doing. I need my cigarettes. I'm a baby actor. Yeah. So they go in the church. She's catching the crow. She doesn't really catch the crow until one of the crow's biggest weakness, a high-powered rifle, is shot right at it.
That is a weakness when a rifle is shot at you. It's a weakness of yours, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's real bad for the crow.
I know you want this job. What would you say your biggest weakness is in the
Yeah.
interview? Well, when a rifle is shot at me, that's a weakness.
Gotta be close, though.
But it's actually my greatest strength.
Okay. How are your organizational skills? Bad.
Pretty bad.
I don't know where anything is. And sometimes I'm so bad at organizing, people shoot me with a rifle. Which
It's my greatest strength.
it's I'm so strong. Every time you get hurt, you come back stronger. That's what my doctor says. And he also says you shouldn't be alive. Brendan Lee lost 40 pounds for this role.
He does look pretty svelte.
And he wouldn't eat certain things because he's on a strict diet.
Yeah.
For this
That's
thing.
pretty normal for
He probably did some of the
actors.
cocaine to help out with that diet.
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't
I'm
think
going to
so.
say no.
The guy who shot Brendan Lee, he stopped
Yeah.
acting for a year because he was so traumatized by
I
the
bet.
incident.
Yeah.
He died in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
He had never watched the film.
Well, yeah. Why would you?
Yeah, I know.
awful. I'd be so upset.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
84% around the tomatoes. I didn't
Really
see it.
sad.
He was originally not supposed to fire a gun at the character, but it was a last minute change by the director.
Listen, they should not be making last minute changes on a set where all of the crew is apparently doing cocaine.
Yeah.
That's not how things should work.
Well,
Bare minimum.
if everyone is doing cocaine, that is how things will work.
Right.
And then the comic book creator, James O'Barr, with his profits from the film, he bought his mom a car, a surround system for himself, donated the rest, because he was really good friends with Brendan, and he felt like blood money to me.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah.
This is another reason why I don't like this movie is because it does just make me sad.
Yeah, he revealed that in like 2009. He that kept that secret for over a decade that he did that.
This is bumming me out.
I'm sorry. Well, let's talk about how there was omens in this film the entire time.
Okay.
During the first day of shooting in North Carolina, which is filmed in North Carolina, most of this thing, so you can get around like right to work stuff.
Okay.
A carpenter suffered severe burns after his crane hit live power lines.
Oh, God.
On subsequent days, a grip truck caught fire, a disgruntled sculptor crashed his car through the studio's plaster shop, and a crew member accidentally drove a screwdriver through his hand.
This is a nightmare.
Yeah.
I hate this.
This is just terribleness. And then Paramount Pictures had initially developed and financed the film, but after the death, they wrote it off. And then Miramax bought it.
Okay.
And then Paramount got Miramax later on. So in like 2020.
So they've
when they got-
reacquired it.
Yeah, years later they reacquired, which is why they're making the new one now. So they got rid of this, and then this movie was a success. And then Miramax had nothing else going, so they just kept making Crows. Which I can't tell you, like, the other Crows are so bad. Like, I think they're bad.
Yeah, I'm not going to watch those.
You might watch the third one, because it stars Kristen Dunst.
Really?
Yeah, she's in the third Crow. Crow Salvation, I believe.
I do really like her. She looked great at the Oscars, and so did Jesse Plemons.
Jesse-
He was like, I
can-
couldn't stop talking about how
Yeah.
hot he looked.
Yeah, it was weird.
But it was like shocking to me.
Nah, he's a good-looking guy. Well, he's not normally a good-looking guy.
This is what I'm saying. I was like, okay, Hollywood.
Some random casting things.
Okay.
Originally, the comic book creator went to talk to the movie's executives. They originally wanted to make The Crow a musical starring Michael Jackson.
Oh, wow.
And he laughed, and then he found out they were serious because when he was laughing, they go, "Why are you laughing?"
Well, the new Joker is going to be a musical.
Yeah, the new Joker is going to be a musical. So
That's all I have to say.
I think it'll be good. And then when he finally got Brendan Lee and then the director Alex Proyas on, they started making it more serious. This is a stupid fact.
Okay.
Oh, I'll go into more people. River Phoenix and Christian Slater were considered for Eric Draven.
Okay.
And the the comic book creator, really wanted Johnny Depp for the role, mainly because he saw
makes sense.
Edward Scissorhands
Yeah,
probably.
yeah.
In one of the.
Brandon Lee has kind of that look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Cameron Diaz turned down the role of Shelley because she didn't like the script.
She's not in the movie.
Yeah, I assume that makes
Shelley
sense.
only exists in, well, the very first time we see her, she's dying.
Mm-hmm.
Then we just see her in weird flashbacks. And then at the end, we see her ghost. So, yeah, Cameron Diaz, good call.
And this was a really dumb fact I saw because it just made me laugh. Prior to filming, Brendan Lee had somewhat of morbid fascination with death. He would often drive around in a hearse he owned, visit famous grave, and would listen to The Doors.
Oh, The Doors.
The Doors classic. Oh my gosh, that guy's listening to The Doors. This guy loves death. The sound. What do you think of the soundtrack? Speaking of music,
Bad.
The Cure made an original song for this soundtrack.
This isn't my style.
Stone Temple Pilots won an MTV Music Award for Best Song in a Movie.
Okay.
That was just that was a time early in the movie. The bad gang is like driving a car and there's music playing. Oh, Katie, it's Stone Temple Pilots. She goes, I don't know what that is, and I don't care to know what that
That does sound like me.
Yeah, so that is the Crow. Mm-hmm. We didn't talk about the very end. He fights the guy who has he used a rifle and then switched to just having a sword
Yep.
to fight Eric Draven, the Crow. But there's also a crow that's having its own little fight.
Right.
I think Ernie Hudson saves it, maybe.
I don't know. It got really confusing at the end.
It just get really confused. A lot of people are just moving in a stairwell down on the roof.
Yeah.
Do you have a guess at what happens in the end when he puts his fingers on the guy's eyes and he falls to his death? Top dollar.
Doesn't he show
Yeah.
Top Dollar Shelley in the hospital?
Are
we not talking about that part?
Yeah, we haven't talked about that part. He supposedly gives him all of Shelley's pain.
Right. Yeah. That's, again, these powers are very unclear. So he finds out that Ernie Hudson was like in the hospital with Shelley. So then Eric Draven touches Ernie's eyes and is able to see what he saw.
Yep.
And now we're making quite a jump. Because I was like, all right, I guess I can get on board with now he's going to touch this guy's eyes and show him Shelley in the hospital. Also giving him all of her pain that's new and also not very clearly explained.
That part where he goes to Ernie Hudson and gets the memories and he goes to him and goes, you stayed with her all night? And he's like, so much like Ernie Hudson is the greatest guy I've ever met in my whole life. And Ernie Hudson's like, yeah, I needed to hope she made it so I can get like any names that I could do. Like I'm
trying to get a witness statement.
Like I'm
dude.
a cop.
Yeah, this is my job.
He was like, I didn't like this person. I didn't care.
Yeah.
And then Brendan Lee drinks a Coke and he goes, yummy.
Yummy.
Yeah. So that is The Crow. Where you can watch it is on Amazon Prime, by the way. We said that last time. And do you have a place you'd cast Wally in this movie?
Oh, I guess the skateboard kid.
Ooh.
That could be Wally.
Yeah, Wally gets kidnapped in the end.
I don't want to cast Wally as anyone who's getting murdered.
Yeah, why would you?
Okay. Or anyone who's doing the murdering.
No.
Nobody
here is telling you to do that.
Almost everyone from this film.
That one guy did get killed. The snitch guy who was like, not really a snitch, just telling what happened.
Yeah.
Eric Draven uses it as a human shield for no reason.
Kills everyone. He kills everyone on the Devil's Night Committee.
Yeah. Oh, one of his powers, we kind of mentioned it. He just gets shot and it heals immediately. Mm-hmm. And because it's like nighttime and darkness, the effects work most of the time.
Yeah.
He's like learns he can't die and just goes in the situations like shoot me with a gun, see what happens.
Well, I mean, he's got nothing left to lose. He's
Yeah.
already dead, so he's here for one night only.
A quick prank and then a murder.
Quick prank, then a murder. I changed my mind. I actually would cast Wally as the 3 bandmates of Eric's that we only see in a photo of the 4 of them. So then it would be Brandon Lee in the photo and then 3 other Wallys. Also in the
It's
photo.
just the bandmates kind of.
It's
3
him
Wallys.
and 3 Wallys.
Gotcha. The crow and the dogs.
Yeah.
Old salty dog crow. Okay, awesome. Do you have a good, bad, normal take?
Yes. Okay, my good take. Well, I don't know if this is a take so much as it is a thought, and I don't know if it's good either.
Okay, well, this is not a good start for this segment.
That's good. Okay, so this movie has a ton of like explosions and fires, and like cars are exploding, buildings are exploding, and that stuff all looks very real to me. Is that
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
real, that's practical?
they did a lot of stuff with miniatures.
okay?
Like that whole car chase was a miniature. It was miniatures.
The car chase?
Yeah, when he's chasing after I don't know, there's people chasing the car, the cops are chasing, the car speeding. That's all done with miniatures.
How do you do a car chase with miniatures?
That I don't
And
know
you're
the
showing
details.
the people in them.
Well, I don't
That
know.
makes not a lot of sense.
Some
to me.
visual CGI.
I think that this movie was a way to get rid of old sets.
That's your good take.
That's what they did in what was it, Gone with the Wind? There's like the burning of Atlanta, maybe it is. And they truly were like taking a bunch of old sets and setting them on fire to get rid of them. And I think that that was happening in this movie too. And that's why they were like, yeah, we'll blow up buildings because we got to get rid of that one anyway.
Okay, good take.
That's my good take. My bad take is that
They should have kept the buildings.
they should have kept the buildings. My bad take is I think whoever made this movie has an eye fetish.
Yeah,
There's
and
so much eye stuff, and then people
That's
getting
another-
stabbed in the eyes, people touching eyes, and you know that I hate eyes. I don't go to the eye doctor, and I probably should, but I'm scared. So
Yeah, you probably should. You ran at the door multiple times. You just said, "There's nothing in my way." Yeah, I forgot how much eye stuff is in this
So much
movie,
eye
and I was like,
stuff.
"God, that's just a." There was just too many hurdles for you to like this movie.
Yeah.
But I mean, the movie is respected. It's highly reviewed by good critics.
that's crazy to me.
But when the first 15 minutes of this movie, I was like, I don't think it's gonna work out.
Yeah.
What is your worst take of this movie? Or what is your normal take?
Yeah, I did good bad. My normal take is Brandon Lee had a lot of talent.
Yeah.
Too bad.
Too bad.
It's too bad.
Too bad. So sad.
It's too sad.
Who would you rather see alive today, Brendan Lee or Heath Ledger?
I'm not gonna answer that.
It's Heath Ledger. For his performance in The Dark Knight alone.
10 things I hate about you.
Yeah. Okay. I think everybody's wondering, and they're all in the seat of the edge of their seats. They don't know what you're gonna say here, and I
Yeah.
think we all.
I've kept it pretty close to the chest.
Yeah. Is it chest or vest?
Oh. I don't know.
Pretty close to the chest vest.
Yeah.
Is this a good movie?
No.
Oh,
It's not
no.
good. There are too many issues with
Oh
it.
man. I can't even name one.
We've just named so many. I'm sorry. I get why people like it.
It's got vibes.
It's got some vibes. I get if you are a teen in the 90s, I get why you would like this. I do think Brandon Lee has some really good moments. Ernie's great. But that's where the niceties are going to end from me.
Okay. All right. Well, that's our third not a good movie.
I know, so I really have to save it with
And-
my next watch.
Yours bad one was Mike and Dave.
Yeah.
We've done 2 in a row. We definitely need a good
I know.
movie
I
next.
know. There's a lot of pressure.
And my 2 90s superhero movies have both gotten you.
Well, I
to
think
say
we're
no.
realizing what kind of movies I don't care for. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That's I would say like I would have guessed you would have liked Mystery Men way more than you would have liked The Crow. But
Yeah, I guess I do.
yeah. No, I get it. I this one is not a shocker to me.
Yeah.
I thought maybe there was gonna be like Katie's just really into this movie, and I'm like, well, I didn't see this coming, but that's cool. But I know you well enough, I guess.
Like the Iron Claw.
Now, I knew you'd like the Iron Claw just because Zac Efron's in it. So, Katie, what movie do you got next for us?
I'm so excited. We are going to watch 13 Going on 30.
Okay.
A verifiably good movie.
I will tell you going into that, what you just said, my first reaction would be negative. Mm-hmm. But we did watch that Family Switch movie that wasn't good with her and Ed Helms. And I did leave that going, Jennifer Garner's great.
She is great.
So
She really
I'm
is.
looking forward to this.
I think it is my favorite Jennifer Garner movie.
Not Elektra?
Nope.
Okay, then.
13 Going on 30, and we'll watch it on Netflix. So if anyone else wants to watch.
All
and you
right.
don't have it on DVD.
I don't know if anyone has DVD players anymore. Okay, great. Well, this is another good movie.
Podcast.
We appreciate you all listening. We appreciate our podcast editor and theme song creator, Cale Forbes. The theme song vocals from Austin Fry and our logo from Carrie Pulley. If you want to hear more from us, follow our Instagram at TIAGMPod. You can find our personal Instagram handles there too. And you can email us at TIAGMpodcast@gmail.com. That's the acronym for This Is a Good Movie.
Yeah.
As always, following, listening, subscribing, commenting, sharing, rating, reviewing is a huge help. Subscribing most of all, so please do that if you can. I'm Joe Bates.
I'm Katie Hetledge.
We
Love you.
bye.
This is a good movie podcast with Katie and Joe.